We're back talking about Sand Devils Necropolis, probably the easiest team, most plug and play team for sure that you're going to find, so let's dive straight into it. What up team, it's your boy MurderInc on the test server talking about the new dungeon, and we did it. We figured out a team, full auto. I don't care about your masteries. You don't have to reset them. War Master, no problem. Giant Slayer, no problem. Do you have the champions? Probably. If you don't, am I going to give you substitutions? Absolutely, because you know I don't want to see in the comments, great, and now all I need is listing the 5 champions that I'm using. So, I've come a long way. I really have. Let's talk about the team we're using here. We are doing stage 12. Murder, why would you be doing stage 12 when it's stage 25 as the max? Snap out of this mentality right now. I'm telling you, it's not going to be healthy going down the line. You need to get out of this FODM, flavor of the month, kind of, I don't even know how to describe it. Everyone wants to do the max level instantly, right away. And if they can't do it, it's too hard and just all of this stuff. So you really need to get out of that mentality. Look for the most optimal stage to farm. I'm picking stage 12. Why am I picking stage 12? Because it's Void Affinity. It's going to be friendly to any type of substitutions we're going to add in here. It's going to be an easy farm for most players. So who are we talking about? This is the 5-man team we have. We have the homie Muckstalker that I was talking about earlier. We have Lydia. Now look, she's +3, I get it. She's missing 2 pieces. She's missing a banner and gloves or a weapon, something like that, to compensate for the +3. It's not going to add up. Me losing 2 pieces is way worse than empowering +3 if you're familiar with how many stats you get, but just to make players feel better, of course I'll show the stats after. And we have Ninja. A lot of people got Ninja who are going to be focused on this content because it's not for players who started a month ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, especially not stage 12. Doom Priest, of course, and Rector Drath here. So let's talk about the team. Kind of a quick breakdown on how it's going to work. You're going to see right here. We're doing damage, we're on auto. We don't really care what happens because in the end, we have a Reviver, defense down, weaken, increased speed buff. We have Ninja who's just popping the sleep counter. We don't care. Like I said, Ninja has War Master. Muckstalker does not have War Master. Doom Priest has War Master. Lydia has War Master, and I'm not sure about Rector Drath, but like I said, we really don't care. We're going to be doing this dungeon. It's going to be smooth sailing. Muckstalker's the key here. He's the only champion that you you want to have this champion, no matter how you look at it. Is he hard to get? No, you can get him from the campaign. He's a rare champion. He has fantastic base stats. I covered this in the last video, so I don't want to talk about it too much here, but as you can see, we're pumping. We are doing really solid damage. And is Ninja the best option? No. Is he kind of a subpar option? Surprisingly, yeah. Who can use instead of him? Literally your arena nuker. And this is going to be the key takeaway from a team like this. If you're not going to use Ninja and you want to know if your swapping for Ninja is going to be viable, put in your arena nuker. And if the boss is, what's a good way to put this, out healing your damage, then you're not geared enough. You have to start looking at adding 2 damage dealers instead of 1. I do have Muckstalker close to crit capped just for some extra damage, but the main source of damage, as we can quite clearly see here, is going to be Ninja on this team here. And we're not really focused too much on the HP burn from the A2. Yes, if he gets that off with the defense down and weaken, like we just saw there, it's going to do a fair bit of damage for sure here. And once again, Doom Priest, not the best champion to use. Doom Priest is very good in this, however we are getting 2 debuffs applied. As we can see, Ninja has decreased accuracy still on him because he got decreased speed and decreased accuracy, and she only cleanses once at a time. So if you can use any champion that mass cleanses buffs, or using a champion like a block debuff champion, you're going to be fine. Her heals are very minimal impact as far as Doom Priest goes. That's what Rector Drath is for, so you can pretty much plug and play any type of healer for her slot. I'll go into some details once this run finishes. This is looking like kind of a bad RNG one, heading up to 3 minutes. I'm using quite a bit of 5-star gear because I tried to kind of make this even. If I geared these guys out in full 6-star gear, you can see I can do it in 58 seconds, so we didn't do that for this video. So pretty clear breakdown. Majority of the damage coming from Ninja here. Lydia, she did some damage, Doom Priest some damage, Muckstalker not so much, so it's quite clear to see the 3 champions with War Master on them, and then Ninja being the damage dealer he is, did the most damage by a significant margin. So with that being said, let's talk about the stats for stage 12, which should be your focus. You're looking for 50,000 health, 50000. That should be the minimum for your non-damage dealing champion. So revivers, debuffers, all of that good stuff, 50,000, no less. There's not really any leeway here. If you're going less, you're going to start getting crit, which is going to kill your champion, and your healer / reviver, whoever you decide on bringing, may not be able to keep up. So please just do me a favor, 50,000 health, don't go lower. Defense doesn't matter too much because of how much ignore defense the boss does, but I would say aim for 2,500. I went way over with 3,200 here. It's just the gear I used. 222 speed. I'm not going to say this is too fast, but it's too fast, right? I don't have to be 222 speed. The main takeaway for stage 12 specifically is going to be a Muckstalker being around 208 speed. Keep that in mind, it's going to be important. So if you want to do stage 13, what are you going to do? If you saw the video I made about what stage you should be farming optimally, you're going to increase it by 5 starting at 12. So 208 plus 5 would be stage 13, plus 5 more would be stage 14, so on and so forth. If you're not quite this geared, don't have an account quite as progressed as the champions I'm showing here, or the stats I'm showing here, subtract 5 speed, and you can get rid of HP, defense, all that good stuff. Accuracy, I found out that around 280, 270 is going to be doable for stage 12. If you want to be safe, head closer to the 300 mark, but pretty sure 300 is too much. I don't have the numbers at the moment. So Lydia, as we can see here, ton of health, way more than we need here. What's going to be surprisingly important for your debuffing champion, if you're using Lydia specifically, resistance. You want resistance if you don't have block debuffs, or if you're using a inconsistent debuff clearer like Doom Priest. So outside of that, kind of looking at the AI, this is what I did with the AI, pretty self-explanatory. Don't use any skills you don't have to that do more hits than necessary. Would it be nice to have the extra debuffs to reduce the damage? I didn't find a difference. I tested this with and without. Why am I starting off with the A1 on someone like Rector Drath? That's actually a great question. This was built for when I had different gear on her, so this doesn't matter at all. You can start off with anything you would like to. The only time you would start off with the A1 is if Rector Drath was going before the sleep was occurring. That way you're making sure that heal happens during the sleep. What does that do? It removes the destroyed HP from your team, which is key. And finally, Ninja stats, nothing crazy, 211 speed. That's decent accuracy, a bit high for this content, 100% crit rate as expected. Crit damage rather low, attack rather low. Health and defense, surprisingly healthy. I think I have quite a few HP percent pieces on this guy just to be safe, because as I was saying before, 50,000 health is kind of important for most of these champions. I'm pretty sure I'm either at or close to that. Yeah, so no one's below 50,000 but Ninja. For a damage dealing champion, if you have a reviver, you can get away with 40,000. Don't sleep on the stats too much. I wouldn't go too far below 2000 defense for stage 12 like this. And now that we kind of went over that, who are some viable swap-ins that we can use here? And one quick thing to note, because I know someone's going to ask, Doom Priest being the leader here, giving increased speed to someone like Rector Drathen herself does not matter at all. I just have no other viable auras, so I figured why not just use this champion's aura. So now that we kind of covered all of that, who are the swap-ins you can do? First, let's address anyone watching who isn't quite at the Lydia level here. I'm going to give you guys some 300 IQ advice right now that I figured out. Pay attention, listen up. I'm going to go ahead and hit recently used champions. You're going to see right away champions that place debuffs on their A1 ability. Remember this, the A1 ability. This is going to be really important. I figured out that it makes the runs on auto crazy smooth. You want debuffs on the A1. Consistent runs, defense down. Weaken doesn't really matter as much for the A1. Attack down on the A1, Rector Drath, of course, and then a Rearguard Sergeant here. And Ninja, there's a reason why I used all three of these champions. It's because their debuffs are on the A1, which means if you're autoing it and you don't care about speed tuning like I did with this team, if I really wanted to min-max, I would have went out of my way, but the goal is you all have champions that are for other content. Making a team like this so you don't have to change too much gear, you don't have to change your masteries. You're already getting penalized for using War Master. I said, who cares, Plarium? I'm not spending gems on this content, neither should you. So I made a team like this so you don't have to do that. So just remember this when you're building your team, looking at the champions you have in your account. Champions that have debuffs on the A1, very strong, and they have a much higher chance of applying that debuff during his sleep state in this new dungeon. Now, another sleeper champion that I have been using is Grush the Mangler. First of all, his damage, he's my favorite login champion, hands down. Listen, Ash, Scylla Drake's is great, I'll give you that, but Grush, you're not touching this guy. Healing's off the chart. You would never put him in a stun set for content like this, but for bossing specifically, this guy is a boss. His damage is really strong, so I have him, I'm pretty sure, close to crit capped, if not crit capped. Hey, how we doing? 105% crit. So with these stats right here, 47,000, 3,600, 204, 105%, 147, 262 accuracy, a little bit low on the accuracy and resistance as well, but with these stats here, this guy crushes stage 12. I'm talking he's doing 400,000 damage, and I don't have War Master on him. If I had War Master, he'd be doing way more. Another champion that you can use that kind of surprised me, but is going to take more gear, obviously being an uncommon champion, is Armiger. Armiger is someone that there's more emphasis on having defense down and weaken on the boss most of the time. If you don't, his gear requirement goes up significantly, which is out of reach for many players at this stage if you're really looking at stage 12. So while you can use him, you're going to have to add at least one more damage dealing champion because he's just not going to be enough. One good pair I did find with a champion like this is Occult Brawler. Why Occult Brawler? I'm pretty sure he's still in the gear. Yes, he is. No, he's not. Okay, so I did take the gear off, but he's an HP based champion. He poisons and the homie slaps. He can be a little bit hard to gear, 100% crit rate, 200 speed's fine. HP is a breeze to gear on this champion with, as we can see, base health of 20,000. Huge. Then, of course, the accuracy. So all of these stats together can prove to be a little bit troublesome for some accounts. Occult Brawler probably isn't being used on many accounts right now. He was very good a long time ago, so if you are lucky enough to have been playing for that long, might be time to dust this guy off. He ignores defense if he has enough debuffs on himself, which can kind of have counter synergy if you're using some type of cleanse champion, but tested him out. I give him my stamp of approval. He slaps here. Now, if you want to talk about meta options to use, Husk. No one's beating Husk. No one's out damaging Husk. You know what I should do? Just like for kicks. Although I'd have to we'll do it really quick. It's not going to take that much time at all. I showcased this team already. We have this set here. Let's get rid of Ninja. Let's get rid of... Do we want to get rid of the healing chick? Yeah, we'll get rid of the healing chick. Why not? We're going to scroll down. We're going to find Mr. Husk. Hopefully they're geared. That could be problematic, right? Do we go no healer? No, we would never do that. We're looking for efficiency here. Oof. Yeah, this guy's geared for stage 25. This guy's going to pump. It's not going to be the greatest show, but you're all going to deal with it. So let's do this, and let's just kind of watch, just so you can see how much damage enemy max health is going to do to this boss. Okay, there's the sleep. Here's the defense down and weaken, coming in hot. Now he's going to use it. So 130,000 damage on stage 12, which is going to equal to 10% of the health, which means he has to use this ability 10 times. Obviously quite less than 10 because we have 4 other champions doing damage, so probably 5 or 6 times total here. And he's not just a complete pushover, his other skills are going to be doing pretty decent damage overall. And having things like War Master on your team, you can kind of see this, and I'm going to get into this in the next video I do. What blessings should you guys be taking? I did quite some research on this, figuring out the best things that you can run, and as we saw, cruelty for an epic is going to be very high in that list for sure, so stay tuned for that video when it does in fact come out. So overall, this is the team, this is the damage. That's Husk, just showcasing A, how tanky he is. This guy's not really ever going to fall over, and B, that the cap is going to be 130, because people should probably be curious about a fact like that. And 20,000, over 50,000 damage from the A1 alone. This guy is pumping for sure here. So let me just close out of this, as much as I'd love to keep watching that. That's going to conclude this video. And before I conclude the video, I know I've gotten sidetracked 50 times here. Yes, I know Lydia's not wearing gear. So who else can you use? Arbiter, viable option as the reviver slot. She has 2 abilities that doesn't hit the boss, being the A3 and A4. Yes, one of them is a revive. You would have to burn the revive. Is it a big deal? No, it's going to be up. She's going to survive. Everything's going to be fine. If you have a Duchess, GG, game, set, match, you're not going to struggle in this type of team setting for sure here. We already covered the viable options there. You can use Madame Ceres. The thing is, her cooldown's kind of long, and I'm not a fan of that. 4-turn cooldown, not the best. You're looking for a 3-turn cooldown, if possible, on a defense down champion, unless you're going with the A1 strat, which I do recommend, like I already said, but that might not be ideal for everybody. So listen, I didn't give a ton of suggestions. I get that. You should be able to figure out a bunch if you're really curious as far as someone that I didn't mention, since there are probably hundreds of options you can run with this combination, as long as you leave Muckstalker there. Yes, there are other sleep champions, but I really wouldn't, even for someone like a Kymar, Sifi, they're just so niche for where you're using Kymar and Sifi in the game. I would probably just stick with farming someone like a Muckstalker and getting them to be your low-level farmer for this until some type of tuning happens, if it does end up happening. If not, then you can start looking to invest in someone like a Kymar or a Sifi for the lucky few that do have him. But if you're really curious about what type of swaps you can make to make this team possible to fly through these stages with ease, drop me a comment. I'll do my best to answer you as to how viable they are going to be based on what we showed you here today. So as always, guys, look for that next video on the best blessings to use for this new dungeon, and I will see you all in my next upload.